Morning.
Morning.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. How about you?
Can't complain, mate. Can't complain. I think we've both been quite busy recently. We've been doing some hunting on eBay. You particularly.
I've never done I've never been an eBayer. Never. I've never had PayPal or nothing. But since I set it up, I've got myself into some bad habits, because every night, every morning, and every sort of afternoon, I'm looking at the newly listed on eBay for Pokemon cards. So my world is now very poor.
How many have you bought? 200 cards, wasn't it? You got?
I wish. No, I've bought about 10.
Okay, well, you're just trying to fill the gaps in your collection.
Trying to fill the gaps, and yeah. This is the thing. It's all based on memory, innit? I'm doing this because I want to be a little kid again. You know, forget that I pay rent and stuff like that. And it's good. The thing is, like, where does it stop though? Do you know what I mean? What's the normal price? Because back in the day, £3 was like, oh, reasonable. Now it's like 300 quid for a car. It's like, what? It's like,
well, this is where it's going. I mean, I'm sure we could do a whole suite of episodes on this, and I think that might be the plan actually. But I was saying to you earlier, even like a Pikachu from like Jungle, first edition, it's like over 100 quid now, which is mad. I mean, that's just a common card. It's not even a rare card. That's the thing. Some of these cards is just going crazy, and it's going to get to a point where it's out of our reach.
Fucking people like Elon Musk investing in Pokemon cards.
This is it.
Fuck off SpaceX.
Mate, imagine if you could just go back in time.
I've dreamt of, like you said, going into a store and be like, do you know what the funny? I did dream once. I was like, if I went back in time and just buried them in a place that in the future I'll dig up as an adult, I'd be like, oh, it's still there. I buried them in the field around wherever the fuck it is. Like,
even if you went back 10 years ago, the prices weren't this bad. You could get like a base set booster for like 20 quid.
It's fucking insane.
The boom hadn't happened, so even if you went back 10 years, you could start stockpiling.
Well,
this is mental.
When I first moved out, my first place, a flat around the corner, it was like a coach house, and cars drove underneath the park and stuff, and it was alright, not a bad house, just a little bit empty. But I looked at a base set box on eBay at the time, and it was £2,500.
Yeah.
And looking back, right. Do you know what, even then I was like, then I was looking to get the money together for that to sort of buy it.
Mate, that would have been such a good investment.
I didn't have the money then that I have now.
I'm pushing like 15 grand now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not saying I'm rich or anything now. I'm not at all. I'm just saying I've got.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Like as you grow up, you get more financially well off.
Yeah, but there's a thought of, can I justify lumping 2.5 grand on bits of fucking cardboard?
See, that's the thing. Like,
but then obviously, now you wish you would have done.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, 5 years ago, if I had bought it, I still would have been 2.5 grand down, I suppose. But 5 years later, I would have made my money back more than tenfold, probably. And it's not like they're even first edition or anything like that. They're just the fact that it's sealed. Do you know what I mean? It's like a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, but the problem is the numbers of these boxes are going down as well, because obviously they're not printing them anymore. So if everyone that gets opened, that puts the price of all the others up.
Well, this is the thing. So, like, the people who have got those base set boxes, they're looking at all these YouTubers, like, open up, like, laughing their head off.
They're licking their lips. Yeah, they're licking their lips. They're fucking frothing at the mouth. Yes! Yes!
That's what I'm saying.
It's just driving the prices up.
When you have the last sealed box, fuck. That'll be in a museum.
I don't even want to know. And if the problem is now as well, you've got to have contacts, because if you just go on eBay and buy a base set booster box, chances are, the sad thing is, it's probably been fiddled with. So I was watching a video recently. A bloke bought a base set booster box off of an eBay account, got it open. You could see straight away the top had real packs on, but the actual foil was real. But as soon as he pulled them out, he realised they'd been resealed and the box was full of shit. It's fake. And then the eBay account was a dummy, and then I think he got his money back through PayPal. But and they took it up with the account. But there's so many bastards out there that are scamming people basically.
Yeah, I mean those people are
You gotta
scumbags.
get
So.
trusted sellers now. Yeah,
And that's the thing. If you're investing money and it's a lot of money, or I mean, it doesn't even have to be a lot of money. It just has to be a lot of money to you as a person. Like 50 quid's a lot of money to someone. Like
it's a lot of money.
Then it's worth being careful over.
Yeah, completely.
I,
But yeah, like I said, mate, I think we've got definitely a few episodes we could plan regarding this.
Well,
'cause
yeah.
we could sit and talk for bloody days about this, couldn't we?
Moral of the story is just don't get addicted to eBay like me.
But I would say there's two morals of the story. One, don't get addicted and know your limits. But secondly, I would say if you've got a gut feeling about something and you've done your research, buy it. Because as I was saying earlier, there's things I've regretted already this year not buying. I could have made money on. And just go with your gut. If you've done your research and you're not an idiot, go with your gut because chances are it's the right choice. Said the gambling addict.
Yeah, says the man who's in debt.
Obviously within reasons, but yeah, I missed out on a few things this year. Anyway, all right, this episode. So, PS5 launch
PSA
this
no,
year.
joking, sorry.
Yeah, PSA, you said. No, PS5 launch. So, supposedly now they're saying the latest date to be rumoured is the 20th of November.
Okay.
And yeah, which is a Friday. So you know the people that make Fortnite, Epic Games, the guys that make Gears of War as well.
Yeah, they've got a lawsuit with Apple at the moment.
Have they?
Yeah, over Fortnite development sort of stuff on the App Store. But anyway, regardless of that.
Okay, I have to read into that. So they released a blog post, and in their blog post they identified the release date for being 17th of November, but that's a Tuesday. So people are now saying, it's going to be the Friday, which is the 20th. So that's the supposed date. And Amazon have accidentally released the price on their listing, which was soon taken down. But that price was $599.99.
600 quid.
600 quid, yeah, 600 quid. Which is quite a lot of money.
I could buy a base set Pikachu for that.
You could buy one battered, fucked up Charizard for that. Yeah, 600 quid. That's quite a lot of money. I mean, I don't know if you remember,
That's a
but
shit ton of
PS5.
money.
Yeah, it is. PS4 when it first came out. I remember they were charging. I think it was $449, and I remember going into the cash exchange shops because they were the only places that had stock. They were buying it for 500. They were buying it for 50 quid more than they were selling it for just to get it in stock.
Jesus.
I mean, £600 is probably about right if you look at what the 4 and the 3 have gone for in the past. But it's a lot of money, isn't it?
Mate, it's a shit ton of money.
It's over $500,000.
I don't think on that price I would get it.
I mean,
to be honest with you, if I'm honest, I've needed an excuse to get away from gaming, and that's it for me.
well, it's interesting you say that because I do think we waste a lot of time playing games, and you could say, is it a waste?
The big
or is it
old
time
debate.
that you're enjoying with friends. Yeah.
Is it the debate of relaxing the mind or wasting your time?
Yeah. But I think we'll both end up getting it. I mean, I might hold off. I don't know if I can justify.
I'm not doing it
quid
before
straight away.
Christmas. No way. I've got a fucking mortgage deposit to try and get hold of.
Mm.
And 600 quid blowing out like that. I mean, Jesus
If there's
Christ.
a Pokemon card on the other hand.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Investment.
But I mean, it's a thing. 600 quid. You could say, it's a lot of money, and it is. Don't get me wrong. It's stupid. It's a hell of a lot of money. But the thing is, I've had my PS4 for like 7 years now, 8 years, and it's like, do you know what? That's a lot of time. Like, you definitely got your money's worth.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. So my
Not gone wrong
Xbox One is a day one Xbox, right? So I put it on the day, and you get, and there's like, for those of you don't remember
what that means.
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't remember, the Xbox Day 1 Xbox had markings on it.
First day, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. but it also had markings on it, like unique markings to say you bought it on day one. Yeah, exactly. So, and that was 2013, and
wow, yeah,
and that is the same one I'm using today, and it's been on every day pretty much. Whether it be for watching Netflix or applications, or whether it be to play games or whatever it is. That's been on pretty much most days for like even in the background, like on in the background, and it's
That's the thing,
working fine. You know?
And you've got your money's worth, and yeah, that's the thing.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, and so there is that, and you are buying it for the long term. But
And you probably paid around £500 for that as well, didn't you?
I was nah. So this is the thing. So the Xbox One.
How much was it?
So the most I've ever paid for a console was the PlayStation 3, and I think I was around about 12 at the time, and I saved up a lot of money. I mean, as a kid, I was really good at saving, and I didn't have a job, but I saved my pocket money. Weekly pocket money, and I think it was £425. The PS3 was on day
You
one.
said that was a 12-year-old.
Well, yeah, I was really good at saving. Yeah.
Bloody hell!
And it was pocket money, all pocket money, constantly pocket money, and
Fucking hell.
so I saved it up, and I got it on the day. But to be honest with you, Sam, if I'm honest, and you have to bear in mind as well, back then trade-ins were worth more. Like you could trade in 50, 60 games, and you'd get £100 off. So
Yeah,
there was that as well.
I remember those days.
So the money I'd saved wasn't all I spent, and the old console obviously got sold and stuff like that. But yeah, and it's £425, and it had Resistance Fall of Man on it. It was just the game I chose. There was that. There was something to do with a car game. But yeah, and even back then, I knew that was a shit ton of money, and I wasn't happy about paying it. I was like, oh god, it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money for what it is. I mean, that's £600.
I wouldn't pay
that could
£600.
get you closer to your mortgage. You know what I mean? But again, on the other hand,
it's a luxury item.
for something,
I don't have the money for luxury at the moment.
what would you pay?
$499.
I mean, like I said, this is a rumour, so it might not be the final price. This is what Amazon think they thought it was going to be. Only thing I do think is a bit bad on Sony's behalf, they must prey on the Christmas sales, so when it comes to the holidays, that's when they make the most money. The thing is, parents need to know, especially in this economy with the whole COVID thing, people losing their jobs left, right and centre, parents need to know how much they need to save.
Well, this is where I feel like
Sony should be releasing the price. They should be releasing the price. I think they could sell more units if the parents knew how much they had to save for.
This is where I think these companies have got it wrong this time. Not every time, and in normal circumstances, they would have made the right decision, waiting for Christmas and stuff. But they've made a massive mistake already now, because not only have they developed something which is expensive and they have to try and make some money on it, right? But during COVID, where things are tough, job losses are every day, people are not thinking about spending £600 on a luxury item now. For most people, they're looking at just keeping their savings going and keeping the income and the food on the table. I don't. If I was a parent, I would not fork out £600.
So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money
for something which is basically.
It is luxury. You are right.
It is, and no one. Most people who bought the PlayStations, PS2 and all that, PS3, PS4, had that time to save up, right? Now, no one has a clue what it's going to cost, and then to buy a game on top and a controller on top of that, and pushing
£1,000.
Fucking, they should push it back. They should push it in my opinion, they should push it back to like 2021. This stuff.
Yeah, that's not about. I mean, at the very least, they should actually give an official price, just so people know what they're up against.
I can't say
I
it's
agree.
a game I want to get anyway, to be honest. It's not a game where I feel like I have to fucking get that. Assassin's Creed is like one I was thinking about, but that's going to be on the Xbox One and stuff. I'm going to get on the old console. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I would like to say I'm going to hold off, but I think I might treat myself. I'm going to wait and see.
There's no way I'm doing that. I've decided. Based on that,
it's the principle.
I know you just said it's a rumour, right? And that's fine. But in my head just then, I made a decision just to say, look, nah. I'm trying to get away from it anyway. I'm trying to get more into fitness and doing stuff. And to be honest with you, the more
Pokemon cards and
the more I speak to you about it, the more I want to write this book. So I'm going to write a book. And
oh, fucking hell. No, I'm joking.
How to get the best PSA for your money. But yeah, I'm just going to use it to do other stuff. Like I said, I've been wanting to get away from it for a while anyway. If it gets me out running more, if it gets me out, then I'm not going to spend £600. I mean, maybe if it goes cheaper in January or whatever, in February sales, whatever the fuck they do marketing wise, I might do it.
I respect that.
Yeah, I've got two perfectly good working consoles that aren't bad, and I'm just going to use it probably for another year maybe, and look next Christmas. Don't know.
No, I respect that. I respect that. But needless to say, as much as we are bashing Sony at the minute, we are both still quite big fans, aren't we?
Oh yeah, I mean,
especially of the PS4.
There are things. I mean, so my opinions, yeah, price-wise aside, and that the PS4 itself has swayed me over the past 2 years to become more of a fan of the PlayStation. So I've been on Xbox for
you charm me.
Good, yeah, you've charmed me. Job's yours. No, I've been an Xbox boy for a long time, right? So 10 years, 12 years.
Just a while then.
Yeah, and it's only the past 2 years where I've looked at the games and thought, actually, do you know what, the games are better. Like, there was this quite funny thing that came out before the Xbox press conference to say, look, we already know what it's going to be. It's going to be Forza, Gears, and Halo, right? And I was actually sort of agreeing with him. I was like, actually, yeah, I mean, apart from that, can you tell me any standout games from Xbox? Not really. It's just pushing out franchises, right?
Well, the only one I could think of was the one, that, what's it called? That medieval one that's coming out.
Oh, it's from Obsidian, sorry. It's Ascendance or something, Ascension,
I think.
Something like that.
Anyway, that one, yeah. That's the only one I saw, and I was like, oh, damn, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's the thing. But and that's on the next gen, isn't it? So
yeah.
for PS4, I've been swayed by the games, really, which is exactly why I was on PS2 in the first place. So last PlayStation I had really invested in was PS2. PS3 I started with, and then I migrated to the Xbox because of the online multiplayer was much better. So that's the one thing they had over PlayStation at the time. The Xbox had much better multiplayer games. So you didn't really live through it, I don't think. Oh, no, sorry, you didn't really play through it like I did. But Halo 2 and 3 were like, you had like 8 million people on at one point at the same time, and it's like it was such a popular online. Honestly, Sam, it controlled my life. Halo. I spent my 6 weeks holiday in like through several years of school just playing Halo 3, and it was honestly amazing. That was like the height of gaming for me, actually. The online multiplayer of Halo was amazing.
So I really got into the online side of it.
Yeah,
I never really bothered. I mean, I didn't think the story was that great.
Oh fuck, mate! You're breaking my heart now.
You're a moron. But the online, I loved.
So the story I thought was incredible. To be honest, I thought the story was really, really good. I was reinvested into it. But anyway, I'm diverging. So the multiplayer between PlayStation 2 to, I'd say, the PS4, the multiplayer for Xbox was far better, right? There was a community and stuff, and I just thought it was really good.
I missed the avatars.
Yeah, and they sort of fast forward that to today. The multiplayer aspect, I feel like, is completely diminished, almost. So Halo was a real big multiplayer game. Halo 2 and 3, even Reach to an extent, was really fucking popular. Now there's nothing like that now, right? You might. I mean, Call of Duty, but it's on multiple platforms, right?
Avowed
is the other, yeah.
Avowed, sorry.
But Call of Duty, but it's like multiple platform, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's just like games, isn't it? Back down to basics, where it started from. Games, okay, what games are better? And like I said, the past 2 years, the PlayStation's definitely changed it for me. Even things like I just feel like they dedicate themselves more to the story of games rather than the Xbox following franchises. Because this is like the thing, people don't know when to cut it off. Like, do you know what? Honestly, like Gears has gone way beyond what it should have done.
Gears 1 and 2 are brilliant. I thought Gears 3 was shit, and after that I just gave up. In fact, I'm not just saying it, I think Gears 3 is what made me swap from Xbox to PS3.
This is the thing, so Gears 1 and 2 I completely agree with you.
Sounds a bit extreme, but yeah, Gears 1 and 2 are amazing. 3 I thought was shit.
Well, this is the thing, so like, and when you pump them out every year, it's like, fucking hell, they are shit. Like 4 and 5 Gears of War, even 4 and 5 Halo actually are shit. Like they are shit. Like I don't know what that. I mean, this is what happens when you long out just trying to milk fucking money out of people. The content gets shit and you lose fan base. And what you end up getting is these cliches, like you said, people online saying, we know what the press conference is going to be like, it's Forza, Gears and Halo, and they're completely spot on. It's like, yeah, it is. What else you got to offer? absolutely nothing. The only thing they've got is this Game Pass. But for PlayStation, like I said, the game's completely swayed me because it's now back to what I like. It's like story-driven, God of War's, Your Last of Us, all of these things. Like they've really turned, like Shadow of Colossus, love all that. So yeah, PlayStation for me is what I'm looking to invest in, I suppose, in the future. But game-wise, PS4 was spot on.
Okay, nice. All right, so yeah, the PS4 has been, if we're talking physical console, like cable into a television, I think PS4 has probably been my favourite games console to date.
I think mine was the PS2.
PS2 was amazing. Actually, it's very close between the PS1 and the PS4 for me. I just think what the PS4 has done, though, with some of the games that have come out, both story and the graphics, I think there's some truly groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah. So
and based on that,
yeah,
we have both got a tier list, haven't we? We've both built a little tier list based on PS4 exclusives.
We have.
Despite the fact we're bashing Sony, we do love the PS4.
Well, see, we're not really bashing Sony, I suppose. We're just saying, like, I think the Xbox console's better, but the games are better for PlayStation, so...
Yeah.
You're doing something right, Sony.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So, yeah, we've got a tier list each. So we've picked our 5 best games, ranked from obviously 5 being the 5th best and 1 being the best of all time. And these are PS4 exclusive games. So things like Red Dead Redemption or whatever, that's on both consoles, so that couldn't be in this list. These are exclusives. So I don't know how you want to do this. Maybe should we both do our 5th spot first?
Yeah, go on. And go on.
Go on, Tom, you start us off then. Go on, start us off.
I was going to say that to you.
I'll start if you want.
Yeah, go on. You start.
So this is very, very tough, and there's a lot of games in here that I've played and haven't finished, and there's also games that I've really wanted to play and haven't had a chance to play yet. So I had to take a lot into consideration when building this list, because I know a lot of people, millions of people out there need to hear this, so I put a lot of thought into it. So with this information in mind, I've compiled a list. Just because this game is ranked 5th doesn't mean it's shit. It's my 5th favourite, if that makes sense. So, number 5 is a game called Until Dawn, which is a third-person horror game, and they've introduced a pretty original system. The butterfly effect, fuck off, which is basically every decision you make changes the story, and there's like a whole list of different endings that you can get based on choices you made throughout the game. Basically, it's about a bunch of kids trying to avoid a serial killer. It's just a really cool horror game. So Until Dawn is my number 5. What's yours, Tom? What's yours, eh?
My number 5 is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay, nice.
It was good. I enjoyed it. But this is like, as my number 5, to be honest with you, it's probably like well below what I consider to be a good game. But, sequel went out. It's alright.
You've sold it to me. I'll go and buy it now.
It was a little bit different than what I expected. I felt like there was a game that did it much better called Lost Planet back in the day on 360, and they fought like an alien race called the Acrid, and this sort of reminded me of that a little bit. So I thought it was a little bit of a rip-off, but oh well, it was alright. That's my number 5.
It looks really good. It looks really, really good. The graphics look amazing.
So they're making a number 2. I'm hoping number 2 is better than number 1.
So that's a game I've been meaning to play for a long time.
You should pick it up.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah. Definitely going to get that after that recommendation. Cheers, mate. Right, number 4. Moving on. This game's alright. I haven't played the others, so fuck it, have this one. Great advice there.
Sell it.
Number 4. Number 4. So, if I were to finish this game, it would be much higher. But I don't think I can put it near the top because I'm still playing it at the minute. So, just because, and again, like I've said, these are 5 games, because I've probably played about 10 games that are exclusive to the PS4. These 5 are my favourites. So, just because this is number 4 doesn't mean
it's your own opinion. It's your own opinion, mate.
Because so just to preface though, this game is amazing. So number 4 is God of War, purely because I haven't finished it.
God of War 4.
Yeah, but I'd say I'm probably a third of the way through, and I think it's amazing so far. But I haven't finished it, so I don't think I can give a true opinion just yet. But it is brilliant. I absolutely love it. I don't know what took me so long to play it, to be honest. I'm a bit annoyed that I waited so long.
Pokemon
Pokemon took over my life. But no, God of War is brilliant. I really like the whole father-son relationship dynamic. Combat system's amazing. Graphics are incredible. I can see why it won Game of the Year.
What's the son
I'm
called?
just annoyed. Artrius. Is that correct?
I know what you mean, yeah.
I'm just annoyed that I didn't play it sooner. But yeah, loving it so far. I can't wait for the next one. God of War, mate. Number 4.
Nice one.
Over to you.
Sorry, I decided to eat some fudge, and it's fucking hard to chew. Sorry, one second.
You fat bastard.
Oh, right, there we go. Sorry. Right, number 4 for me. Ghosts of Tsushima.
Oh, I've not played this.
So, initially, I didn't have a good feeling about it because made by the same people who make Assassin's Creed games. And last year, Ubisoft decided to take a 2-year gap. So Assassin's Creed games came out every year before this, and they said they want to take a 2-year gap. Right, no problem. Valhalla 2 years later comes out. Bit weird that this goes to I can't even say it, but Tsushima comes out in between, right? So I was thinking to myself, I think initially they started this game off as an Assassin's Creed game for the in-between because it's very similar, okay? The grappling's very similar, the exploration's very similar. However, there are some quite good, unique bits in this game. So, like, they really focus in on the history of the samurai. Like, they do a lot of standoff, so it actually feels like you are having a samurai battle one-on-one. There are different stances. Cool. The story itself is actually quite good as well, and there's a challenging boss at the end. But for me, like, I wouldn't say I was heavily invested in the story, but the mechanics of the game were really good. So, like, the combat, for example, which you're in all the time, was really good, and it didn't really get boring. It was very, like... And what I like about these games is that when you go to a different area, everything levels up. Not you, but the environment levels up, so it keeps the game challenging. Because
Cool.
If you're like me, where you go do everything side quest first before you do the main quest, your character's quite powerful compared to what other people would be when they start the main quest.
Yeah.
So I feel like the game did well in balancing the game out. But for me, the combat and the sort of challenges, the standoff, and the fact that it went into like the Shogun type era traditions and stuff was really good. And one of the things I will say is you can play the entire game in black and white if you want, and you can also have it in Japanese, which I thought was really cool. So
that is really cool.
So I played the whole game in Japanese, and honestly, it made it really like authentic. So for me, it's number 4 slot.
That's pretty cool. I mean, when I came around yours a couple of weeks ago, I had a little go on Ghost of Tsushima. And I mean, in the 10 minutes I played, I did quite enjoy it. I could see myself kind of getting lost in that kind of old Japanese world.
And the thing is, it is a massive game, and the environment is really well done. So two games recently I've played, which the environment, it looks stunning, okay? And this is one of the two. And literally, if you're on horseback, you can just ride across this island, and it takes ages, and the weather changes, and it does a really good thing with, say if you're lost and you've got a marker and you don't want to keep looking at your map every 10 seconds to see where you are, you literally do a swipe over the PlayStation pad, and the wind's direction will guide you. So when the wind changes,
cool.
so you can look at the tree direction. Yeah, and honestly, I thought that was really nice because it keeps you in the game whilst not having to look at the map all the time. You can literally swipe the PlayStation pad, and the wind direction will sort of kick in a little bit, and you'll be like, oh, it's that way, and you follow the wind. And honestly, I thought that was really good.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So for me, it takes number 4 slot for me.
Oh, nice. That's quite interesting actually. That's something I'd like to see the PS5 do more, because we've had hints of it from the PS4.
Yeah.
So like actually using the controller as part of the game mechanics.
I'll tell you a funny story quickly. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
No, go on.
On the PlayStation 3, there was a game called Lair, and it was about dragons, right? Dragon riders, and I thought, this is fucking wild good. This is back in my days when I was into like dragonflies and the cartoon dragonflies and all that. And I was like, I got my PlayStation 3, put Lair in, and when I was riding the dragon, it kept pointing down. Like my dragon just kept flying into the sea and dying, and I was like trying to fight this battle. I was like, the game's broken. Like something's wrong. Why is it? And what I didn't realise at the time is that there had been a jump in technology since the PlayStation 2, and the controller, I was actually pointing the controller, the direction I was having it was pointing towards the ground physically.
That's quite funny.
And it took me like, I don't know, like a couple of hours to understand what the fuck was going on.
Lair.
Yeah, I had to turn it off eventually.
But things like that are really cool though, because it gets you. It's that much more immersive, isn't it?
It was a bit too much work, to be honest. When I just want to sit there and.
That's pretty cool though. I mean, a game that's done that really well was. I'm not a big fan of GTA, but GTA does some cool things with the controller. So when someone rings you in game, the voice comes out of the controller, so it's like an actual mobile phone in your hand.
Oh, that's good.
That's really cool, and that works really well. And like when the police talk on the radio and stuff, like you hear it through the controller, which I thought was quite cool. That's something I'd like to see from the PS5. Is like that things like that being used a lot more. But okay, Ghost of Tsushima, very good. Number 3. So for me, this is a game that I wasn't really looking forward to. No, I was looking forward to it, but I had low expectations. I was a massive fan of it growing up, and that is Spider-Man. So I remember playing Spider-Man on the PS1 and the PS2, so I was really looking forward to this one. And it was brilliant, mate. The boss battles were amazing, the city was really immersive, great story, just a really, really fun game. I sunk hours into that. And do you know how satisfying it was just swinging around on a web around the top of New York? Such a good game. You've not played Spider-Man, have you?
I haven't, but I remember you talking about it a lot when it was around.
It's
and
brilliant.
You kept saying to me about basically how real it felt
Yeah,
going through the city. So
that's the thing. It just it sounds silly, but just swinging through the buildings on a bit of web rope just felt so real.
So my number 3 is one you've already mentioned, and it's God of War.
That's number 3.
It's my number 3, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow, I thought that was going to be your number 1. Wow, okay.
It's different than the other two, game-wise, obviously, but there's a fine line between 2 and 3 and 2 and 1 as well, so it's like, okay, there's not like a massive difference between 3 and 1, but for me, God of War was number 3. Yeah, you've mentioned it already. I won't spoil it for you, but it's a franchise I've been in love with since PlayStation 2. It's a really good game, story-driven, environmentally looks amazing. The fact that it's in mythology, and I've mentioned it before, mythology is like something that I'm really interested in. And the story between him and his son works really well. I thought it was going to be a burden at first, but actually it turns out to be a completely opposite type feel to that. Yeah, for me, like, and to be honest with you, bosses-wise, it's really good at that as well. It feels like you are in the fight rather than just watching it, which is what a game needs to do, really. So, yeah, for me, amazing game, quality game. Can't wait for number 5. God of War 4 is my number 3 spot.
I'm pretty shocked, mate. I thought I was going to be number 1.
I know.
I'm interested
I knew
now.
you thought that as well, and I'm not changing it up just for that. I just, in my heart of hearts, I know there's a few others which have taken the lead, I think.
Number 2 for me. So this was pretty tough because these are 2 games which I think are genuinely amazing, and I wasn't sure, first of all, the order to have them in. Number 2 is Last of Us Remastered. Now,
what? Number 1 is number 2.
Number 1 is number 2. So the thing is, I didn't know if I could include this because it's actually a PS3 game.
Nah, Remastered's fun.
It's still a PS4 exclusive, but yeah, originally it's actually on the PS3. Yeah, so Last of Us, I was going to put that as number 1, but I changed my mind and it's number 2. Try not to give anything away here, but yeah, I just think I've not played a game that good in the last 10 years. It sounds a bit silly, or ever really. I just think it's one of the best games of all time, which is a pretty big statement. Story, action, horror, it's got everything. I mean, you smashed it out in a couple of days, didn't you? It says it all, really.
Yeah, I did. I had to break through my own personal battles, fear barriers.
Bloody hell, yeah. I remember a few times you were texting me, you were like, I can't carry on.
There was one point in the newest one, I couldn't do it anymore.
It reminds me a bit of God of War in terms of the relationship with Ellie and Joel, because you're seeing them bond.
Yeah, and I've always liked that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it helps with the story and it gets you immersed in the game and all that. But yeah, Last of Us 1 is my rank number 2. I could talk about it all day, so I won't bore you. But
well, my number 2 spot is Last of Us 2. So yeah, a game which I'm not, it hasn't been in my system for a long time. I've literally just picked it up after Sam was going on about it non-fucking stop. So I literally bought the first and second one, played them back to back, and then I played number 2 again, and then again.
bloody hell.
And then I'm waiting for that new survival mode to come in, and I'll play it again. And yeah, I love it. Last of Us 2, or Part 2, sorry, is my number 2 spot, and I just found it really good. If I'm honest, I just found it a perfect balance between. Yeah, I just thought the environment was good, the characters were really interesting. It took risks, and I always appreciate when a game takes risks and doesn't follow the sort of mainstream bullshit. Like, having a game talked about in the right sort of way, in my opinion, like, it's a decision. It wasn't a bad game. It's just people didn't like the decisions, and that's fine. I think, personally, it was a good decision. I thought that particular story had come to an end anyway, but for me, it was just a really good game. It took risks, and to be honest, it was a lengthy story, and there are one or two things I'll probably change, but overall, if I was to look at the game from start to finish, it's just a really solid game. For any of you who like zombie games, pick it up, it's quality.
No, I completely agree, mate. I think I know what your number 1 spot is now, but I won't give anything away.
Your number 1 spot?
So my number one is, drumroll, Last of Us Part 2.
I always thought you had these reversed, you know.
No, I did for a while, and then I thought about it again, played it some more, and yeah, Last of Us Part 2. I mean, we've gone on about it quite a lot in previous episodes, so I won't bore people, but purely because of how it made me feel. Bear in mind, this is a game we're talking about. We're talking about a fucking game. We're not talking about
Joel.
It's not real. But yeah, seriously, purely because of the emotions involved in a bloody video game. I thought it was incredible, the ups and downs. I think it's probably the best looking game I've ever played. I thought it was some of the best storytelling, how it made me feel with regards to, you know, Abby and Ellie, and it just ticked every single box. It was just, honestly, everything about it. When you first start as Abby, I didn't even want to play. I wanted to stop playing. Literally
fucking
put the controller
bitch.
down. Literally, I was like, you bitch. Didn't want to play anymore. Put the controller down. And then I sucked it up, carried on playing, and I grew to really like her as a character. And I just thought it was amazing. Honestly, I thought it was an amazing game.
Can I ask you a question then?
Go on, mate.
What is the deciding factor between 1 being 2 and 2 being 1?
I just think they took 1, which was already perfect, and they just improved it in every aspect. So the graphics, the combat, storytelling, the environment. It was like a really polished version of 1. It felt like it carried on straight from where 1 picked off.
Yeah, it did.
And they just improved every single aspect. Obviously, I was gutted that Joel died. Sorry, spoilers.
Clubbed in
I've
the
got so
head.
much to edit out here. Fucking hell. Can you not hear that?
I heard that's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah, I just think it took the second one. It took the first one and just improved on it in so many aspects. Yeah, and I now understand the choices they made, because you said straight away you get why Joel had to die, and I was conflicted for a long time about it, and now I see that it had to happen really for the only real way the game could have played out. There are a lot of things I would have changed, but you know that's why I'm sitting in my bloody lounge talking about it instead of actually making my own game. Do you know what I mean? It's not my job, so I leave that to the experts. But there are things I would have changed off the top of my head. I would have ended it in the farmhouse when Uncle Tommy came back. I would have ended it there. I wouldn't have carried it on, because for me that just kind of not ruined it. It just put a bit of a dampener on things, and I just felt empty at the end. Which sounds, again, this is a game we're talking about.
Well, no, I mean, it's the thing.
This is why
It's
my number 1 spot. Yeah, exactly. This is why it's number 1, just because of the emotions involved and how it made me feel. And for a game to be able to do that, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, Last of Us 2.
Bloody hell.
Let's see yours, mate. I mean, I know what yours is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so my number 1 spot, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, sorry, not Ratchet and Clank. Final Fantasy VII remake or remastered, and it is remastered because it's a slightly different story than the PS1 version, because this is only the first 4 hours in that game, whereas in this game it's taken me 72 hours. So, fucking hell. Yeah, so for me, this game was my first real entry into Final Fantasy as a series, and even growing up, so I haven't played any Final Fantasies in this much depth, but I know who Cloud was, I know who Sephiroth is. I watched the Advent Children anime, and I was really, really looking forward to playing this game, and it took a little while to get used to it, if I'm honest. A few hours. But Jesus Christ, if there is a game which made me feel exhausted, after fighting boss after boss after boss, and the story was fucking amazing, right? And the scenery was quality. Some of the like character arcs were amazing. The character looked like a real person. It was that much detail.
Graphics do look amazing. Graphics do look amazing.
And it really, to be honest, it just felt like a story. Like, it just felt like a lengthy. It felt like I read a whole book. It just for me, it's just really. It's a standout game. It's part of maybe 1, 2, or 3 more. And to be honest with you, like it did a lot of fan service at the end as well. And I'm into my bosses, right? But this was like over the top. This was like Quinn in Overdrive. Fucking hell. And it changes the environment. It changes like you as a character. The power-ups are really cool. There's loads of stuff to do afterwards. Plenty of side missions. And that's the one thing as well. I thought the side missions would be boring. They're not. They're as exciting as the main story. Honestly, it's...
Yeah, I mean, I'm jealous. So I've decided after I finish God of War, I am going to do Final Fantasy.
Sam, you've got to. It is, if there's a game, I mean, for the entire generation of PlayStation 4, right? And I'm on the back end of it. I admit that, right? I haven't had a chance to play all these amazing games, but for me, this is a number one standout game for me. Like, this is the best game I've played on this console, purely because of the length, the story, the graphics, the characters, the music, the fighting, like. It's just really good, if I'm honest. It never got boring.
I'm amazed. I'm still amazed that God of War ain't number one.
See, it's funny because on here, God of War Remastered is on here. So God of War 3 Remastered isn't on the list. Because that might change things, God of War 3. But it was not on this list. And I thought, okay, might be a reason for that. But yeah, that would be in the 5. That would probably be my number. That would shuffle 5. Horizon Zero Dawn wouldn't be in there if God of War 3 was on there as remastered. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, number one spot, Final Fantasy 7 Part 1 remastered. Literally, if there's a game I'd recommend picking up, it's that. You won't get bored of it.
So what was your full list then? Sorry, Horizon Zero Dawn,
Ghost of Tsushima, then I had God of War, Last of Us Part 2, and then Final Fantasy 7 Part 1 remake.
It's a pretty good list, mate. Pretty good list. I mean, there are some games on the PS4 I've played that I wanted to mention, but they weren't exclusives. Like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7, Skyrim, obviously. But a lot of those games are on both consoles.
Skyrim,
now.
Fucking hell,
mate! I love that game so
Xbox
much.
360 to Xbox One to Xbox fucking Series X.
Yeah.
Just same with GTA 5, isn't it? GTA 5, Xbox 360 game or PS3 game to fucking PS4 to PS5 games. Like what?
Well, I can't believe that's one of the first announcements for the new console. It's pretty mad. Honourable mentions though, I got Shadow of Colossus.
So I'm playing that game now.
Okay, what do you think?
It's good. I've only just started it, but I bought it. It's pretty good.
It's nice. I got Shadow of Colossus, Ratchet and Clank because it's just fun, and Bloodborne.
If Jack and Daxter was on there, I'd have that.
Jack and Daxter was quality.
I think it was better than Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think Jack and Daxter had the duo for me. That was my best duo.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, how they changed that game was pretty weird because Jack, he's quite innocent and weird in Jack 1. Jack 2, he turns to a fucking psycho.
Well, yeah, he gets tortured for years, doesn't he? Then injected with something called Dark Eco, and it makes
Dark Eco. Yeah.
They sort of introduced Light Eco in number 3, and he has to defend this coastal town, and it's quite cool because he does this like massive like angel slam. Yeah, okay, I'm fucking single. But, yeah, but anyway, it's a good game. Good game.
No, nice one, mate. Nice one.
Have to fight the Metalhead Queen at the end.
Yeah. Any honourable mentions, mate? Any other games you played that didn't quite make the list?
No. I don't think so.
End it there, shall we?
Bloodborne. Yeah.
That's a good one. I feel like Final Fantasy should be in mine, but I've not played it.
For someone who talked to me about it, you got me into it.
Yeah. I think I just got... So I played the original on the PS1 back in the day. Loved it.
If there's things I want you to achieve this year, Sam,
yeah,
it's God of War 4, Final Fantasy 7, and watching The Irishman.
There's a few games I would really like to actually play on this list, and the PS4 exclusives. So You got Death Stranding.
I heard that's pretty shit.
I've heard mixed things.
You're basically
Death Stranding.
You're basically the post office, aren't you?
Literally, you're basically a postman in like post-apocalyptic. Yeah. But it just looks amazing. It looks amazing. You got Death Stranding, The Order, Final Fantasy, and then Neo.
Yeah.
Neo, and Days Gone as well.
Days Gone. Yeah.
They're ones that I kind of want to play. Will I get them done before November? No, probably not. But like you said, I don't have to rush to the PS5.
No, not at all. But I did watch The Irishman again last night.
How many times have you seen it now?
That was the third time. And it's like, it's about 3.5 hour film. It's fucking quality. You'd love it. It's right up your street.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro.
It's worth me doing a little plug actually as well. So in case you don't know already, which you probably don't because there's no one listening, we're doing a giveaway on our Instagram page. We're giving away a Legend of Blue Eyes Yu-Gi-Oh! Beckett Mint 10 graded card. So pristine, 10 out of 10. A couple of Japanese holo Pokemon cards and some holo break cards from Evolutions. It's pretty cool. All you need to do is follow us on Instagram and comment your favourite Pokemon on the post. That's a little plug. There we go. Our Instagram
that was good.
is the SNT show. That's our Instagram.
Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Okay. All right. Cheers.